they don't like me, I'ma live my life anyway. I ain't fucking with her if she ain't watching anime. You know the finest women in the world, you know they cosplay. Pocket full of money, yeah, yeah, man, I came to play, yeah, yeah. Drop top, yeah, yeah, drop top, yeah, yeah. All summer, yeah, yeah, I won't stop, yeah, yeah. Beat going crazy, it's a whole box.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Nerd on the Street, where you guys already know nerd is the word on the street. Okay. Our other co-host is out getting fucking food, so I guess he'll just join us whenever the mood strikes him. So today we are talking about comic book, anime, just fandom deaths that we feel are either completely unnecessary. And by completely unnecessary, I mean like they contribute nothing to the story. Like killing them was like the most unnecessary thing that you could ever do, and y'all only did it because y'all were missing sales or views if it's an anime, or if it was essential to the story. So we want to know, and of course, you guys can leave comments, questions, concerns. I can't tell who that is, but hi. So first we are going to start with and the reason that I'm bringing this up is because we just in comic books had the death of Beast Boy, and it's supposed to be fucking official, but they've killed Beast Boy before. So if you guys read the Injustice comic, Beast Boy, Superboy, and I can't remember who else it was. They were in Metropolis, kind of just like, playing around. They were out there chilling, basically. And Metropolis got nuked. And they died. Everybody except Superboy. Superboy did not die. And Superboy, in fact, was trying to protect them. But hi Kendo. I can't, it only says Facebook user, so I can't actually see who said what. Sorry. Yeah, so Metropolis got nuked and Superboy was trying to protect them and they ended up dying. But we get back to where they've just officially, after 58 years, have killed Beast Boy. And I just think that this death in particular is completely unnecessary, because why did you do that? And then the way that they did it, I think is just really odd, because it's Beast World 1, if you guys are really keeping up with that. And so, spoiler if you haven't read it, I'm so sorry. Anyway, Beast Boy turns into Starro, and then his mind, like his entire human personality, everything that makes him Garth, just is gone and erased by Dr. Hate. And I just think that that's completely unnecessary, because what was the reason? It was definitely sad, but I don't think it was necessary. I don't really think that's going to contribute anything to the story, because I feel like they're just going to bring him back. Another death that I think was completely unnecessary and ultimately violent for absolutely no reason was the death of Alex DeWitt in DC Comics. So Alex was Kyle Rayner's girlfriend, and ultimately was the reason why he decided to continue being Green Lantern and going through with his training and all of that stuff. And Major Force saw that like as a threat, and he came into the house while Kyle was gone and strangled Alex in the bathroom, and then chopped her body up and put her in the fridge for Kyle to find later. And then he did. And I'm just confused as to why. Yes, Beast Boy. It was actually really sad. Beast Boy's death was sad as fuck. Especially when they gave like his very last line was like him basically saying he didn't want to go and I don't want to. It's really like, it was really depressing. And I just thought that was so odd. But yes, this. And they actually reference this one a lot as like probably one of the darkest deaths that DC has actually had. And I am very just I definitely agree, because there was absolutely no reason for Major Force to come into his house and kill her and chop her body up and put her in the fridge. I thought that that was an unnecessary thing to do. Um, it did kind of forward the story a little bit, but I feel like him going after Kyle personally, like, was weird and odd, and it was unnecessary to me. Um, to get off of the comic deaths for a second, um, it was essential to the story. This one that I'm about to bring up, it was essential to the story, and but I hate the entire thing. I hate it so much. Oh, oh my god. When I tell you I cried real fucking tears for Sasha, and I didn't want to continue watching after that. I was so hurt, and then it was just like, I think that was really kind of the only time that I was pissed off at Aaron. But then I couldn't really be too pissed off at Aaron, because it seemed more so that he was in shock about the whole situation when they told him that Sasha died, and he didn't really fucking say anything. um I Her death was essential to the story. Like, it definitely pushed the story forward. And if you saw the very last episode, if you saw the finale, you saw Sasha, come back as like just like a little vision, and it hurt a little bit more. It definitely hurt a little bit more, but I think her death was essential, so like that one can't be too bad. Now, why would you do that? Shut up. We're live over here. Be quiet. Anyway, another one. I would say that it's essential, but also I feel like it was also kind of just like unnecessary. But if it didn't happen, we wouldn't have gotten where we were, or where we have been, like, at this point. If y'all can see my face right now. My feelings on this situation. I have always felt like Jiraiya's death was unnecessary as fuck. I really have. And I just I didn't know what to do. That is another one where I have cried real fucking tears. And I don't know. I've just always felt like his death was so unnecessary. But without it, we wouldn't have gotten Naruto to where he was. So, I mean, that's just me. She was supposed to make it to the end and have like endless meat and potatoes. I wanted that for my girl so bad. This is also true, but they do unnecessary type shit all the fucking time. He is on this list, actually. I thought his death was unnecessary as fuck. But the next one that I think, this one, y'all should already know how I feel about this, but just in case you don't, any Justice League death is unnecessary as shit. There is absolutely no reason for the Justice League to die every year, sometimes twice a year. And it is always so confusing to me that they do it. And then I get less confused, because I'm like, oh, book sales must not be going the way that they want them to go. So then, of course, we have Let's Kill the Justice League. And I'm like, you don't have to do that, right? You don't have to kill them all the time. And they find like super creative ways to kill the Justice League. And I'm just like, you don't have to keep doing that. We don't care. You can just continue to do stories that don't involve them, and I don't think anybody would mind. Honestly and truly, killing the Justice League is probably the most boring thing, and it kind of just says to me, oh, we don't really know what to do here, so we're just gonna kill the Justice League, and hopefully they'll be okay with it. And at the end of the day, nobody actually cares. And I don't think is unnecessary. It was unnecessarily violent. Actually, you know what? No, she was definitely unnecessary. This death is unnecessary as fuck. Um, because it didn't have anything to do with anything, and she was really just kind of caught in the crosshairs. Katma Tui. For all of those who don't know who Katma is John Stewart's wife in the comics, and she at one point dated Hal Jordan a long fucking time ago, but it didn't really go beyond that. When she got with um, that man, John Stewart, it was never anything extra after that or anything like that. So I was when when Hal Jordan's girlfriend became a Star Sapphire, she just randomly decided that she was going to go and kill this lady in her fucking kitchen. I'm not really sure what it is with DC and just having people walk up in other people's houses, but it could not be me. You're not about to just walk up in my house with my kitchenware and stab me to death. That is crazy. I always thought that this death was odd, and I really don't feel like it did anything for whatever story it was that they were telling. But it was weird, and I didn't understand why they did that. Um, yes, instead of killing big characters to make sales, they could just give smaller characters a bigger platform. But we all know how DC operates. Now, I could put the entire X-Men series on here because I feel like they all die unnecessarily, even though it's for this. Like, I feel like some of their deaths are unnecessary as fuck. I really now feel like they're unnecessary because now they have the protocol in place where we know we're sending you on a mission and you're gonna die. We're sending you on a mission and you're gonna die. We already know this, but we have you backed up into the system. We already have you backed up in Cerebro. So when you die, we're just gonna bring you back. It's really not that big a deal. So whenever an X-Men dies now, I don't care. And whenever I don't care. I don't care about the death of anybody because all they're going to do is bring that person back. One very huge example would be when they killed Miss Marvel. I knew what the fuck they were doing. And I didn't care. People were like, oh my God, I can't believe that they killed her. Are you sure? Because it sounds like they're just going to bring her back. And then they did. And they brought her back as a mutant. And I was like, okay. It in the Marvel universe, if you are a mutant, it does not matter if you die or not. As long as they have you at some point in time backed up into Cerebro, you'll be fine. So all of those are unnecessary. I couldn't put the entire mutant list on here, but all of them. One death that I do think is essential to the story would be the death of Gwen Stacy. Did it hurt me? Yes. Was it necessary? Also, yes. Because it pushed Peter forward, right? So I wish they would just, kill Mary Jane, but whatever. I just seeing it play out in the movie was 10 times worse, in my opinion, than reading it. Because it looked and it sounded so bad. It looked, I like felt so sorry for him, and that's why, like, when he got his redemption, saving Mary Jane in, or saving MJ, in No Way Home, No Way Home, No Way Home, yeah. Um, I was very happy for it. I cried along with him because I was like, I'm so glad you did that. Let's see. Another unnecessary death, I think, is this one. Itachi's death was so unnecessary. this this comment. Of course, whenever a character gets too happy, they're just like, happiness? Absolutely not. So Itachi's death, I've always considered to be one of the most unnecessary things, because while people think that it's essential to Sasuke's story, um, to be perfectly honest, Sasuke did not win that fight. Itachi died because he was sick. Now, I think on another level, honestly, y'all could put Gojo and Itachi at the same point in time, like on the same level of power, because you make a character that's so powerful that you have to kill them in like the most, you have to kill them or capture them or, lock them away somewhere to where they can't get out, blah, blah, blah. Itachi is one of those. Because Sasuke did not win this fight. And I will say it 10 times over. Sasuke did not win this. If Itachi was at like 100% not sick type shit, Sasuke would have died quickly. But that's just me. Y'all can, of course, tell me what you guys think about that in the comments. Another unnecessary, Maze Hughes. I thought this shit was unnecessary as fuck. Essential for the characters around them, I guess, but not really. We could have went without this. I could have went my whole entire life without this death. And then, of course, I could have went my whole entire life without the death of Neji Hyuga too. There is no reason for Neji to have died. I mean, if y'all can think of a reason, please tell me. But I don't feel like there was a reason for Neji to have died the way that, and then to die the way that he did. This is Maurice's pick. I'm not sure if he thinks that this is unnecessary or essential. From my remembrance, because y'all know I don't watch Demon Slayer like that. I think this was essential to like the main story, because you have to push it forward. It was hurtful for sure, but even things that are essential are definitely like hurtful. So some people's stance on that is different. Y'all can tell me what y'all think in that aspect. Hold on. There's another death. Oh, here she goes, right here. This one was most definitely unnecessary. Another death that they have in comic books, and DC is real bad at this. Another death that they had in comic books because they wanted to boost sales was Alfred. I'm not going to put Alfred's picture up here because y'all know who Alfred is. And they still haven't brought Alfred back unless I have so suddenly missed something. His death was, I don't understand why. I thought that was weird. And the fact that you haven't brought him back is even weirder. But on top of that, another death that was super unnecessary that DC has done, and quite honestly, it had some racist undertones to me, but y'all already know how I feel about DC and black people and what I be saying about DC and black people. For those who don't know, this is I call her JJ because I'll be good and goddamn that y'all be just naming my girl Jezebel. But this is Jezebel Jet. Jezebel Jet dated Batman for a while, like in love. Batman was in love with this woman, like showed her the Batcave and all types of shit. Because Batman has a thing for fucking criminals. And she was basically like a fucking mafia boss. Um so she like they broke up, they got into it, they broke up, and I only knew that she died. Never did I know that she was beheaded and just like her body parts chopped up and all kinds of shit and put into this room next to this phone where Batman could find her. And you know who I also what I also just noticed or I also just realized because I just read who the fuck did it. Talia al Ghul did this shit. And I was like, excuse me? For which reason? They haven't been involved in forever. It's the same thing with Wonder Woman's man, Trevor Barnes. I'll have his picture here in a second. But Wonder Woman dated a black man herself. And y'all know DC don't like that, even though they did it. And he was with her for a while, and then all of a sudden he goes on a trip, and like they come back, then they're back together. Like they break up, he goes on a trip, then he comes back, they get back together, and then while she's fighting, I believe a god or something like that, he ends up getting murdered during the fight. And then they just kind of gloss over it. I was like, okay, what was the point? So both of those deaths I thought were completely unnecessary. This one was definitely essential. This was after Civil War, so it was the aftermath of Civil War where everybody thought that Captain America was wrong, and then Captain America got assassinated on the steps of Council Building. I thought it was essential. I knew that he was going to be brought back because he was. But I don't know. It's different when you're like thinking which one is essential, which one is necessary, and then are they both like which ones are hurtful? So like when Barry Allen died during Infinite Crisis, Barry Allen and Supergirl. Those two were incredibly essential to the story, as I just like told my dad. I had them on the list, but I had them more as hurtful versus being essential or unnecessary. But I think that both of those two deaths were completely essential to the story because what happened after that, throughout after Infinite Crisis and throughout like the new continuity, we had Wally West who was struggling to like be the Flash essentially. Any of the deaths in Injustice I thought were unnecessary because you were just gonna bring back. And then I think my dad made the point that one of the only death in comics that has actually stuck was the death of Captain Marvel, and it was because he died of a natural fucking cause. Well, natural. He died of cancer versus being killed in like a battle or something like that. So because his death hit so hard, like they have kept him dead. His death ended up being essential to the story because after his death, we have Monica Rambeau, who has his name, and then she runs into his son, Genus Vell, who like, and they have like a battle of the names going on. because no matter what she changed her name to, his son was just like, I like that name, I want it. And so she would give it to him and then change her name to something else, until she finally decided on Spectrum. Um, and, she's also run into Phi Lavelle. So, like, his death has been essential to many stories. And like my dad pointed out, if they brought him back for some reason, it was like a flashback, or it was like something in the story was going on to where it wasn't really him. But they have kept Captain Marvel dead. Like, he has been dead and gone. I really think in anime and comics, because, like, you can kill somebody in anime and you can find a way later on in the story to bring them back. Um, i.e., Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, none of the deaths fucking matter. None of them are necessary. Some people think Vegeta's sacrifice during the Blue Saga was essential to the story. Sure. And then what happened? They brought his ass back. So it made it unnecessary and a waste of time because it didn't even have to happen. Any time Yamcha or Krillin died, it was unnecessary as fuck, not essential to the story, and you were just going to bring it back like an episode later. So, anime deaths, I think, and comic book deaths, just get, like, depending on the anime and depending on the death, are sometimes the most unnecessary thing because you know that you're going to bring them back. Like the thing with Itachi, they killed Itachi and then brought Itachi back. The only one that they haven't brought back was Jiraiya, and I think that that is just so unfair. They've even in Boruto, if you guys have seen Boruto, which I know some people really don't like it, but I stopped watching Boruto after they killed Kurama because it pissed me off to absolutely no end, because I was like, why are you doing that? Only for them to come back later and say, there's a possibility that Kurama could come back. And I'm like, well, what did you kill him for in the first place? That makes his death unnecessary. Was it essential to the story at the time? Yes. But when you bring them back, it just makes them unnecessary. I don't get into manga spoilers, so I'm just going to leave some of those at like where they are. If you guys have any other deaths that you feel are unnecessary or essential, please leave comments. And if you want to talk about hurtful deaths that hurt you more than anything, that's like most of these on here hurt me a lot. They were incredibly sad. One, so of course, again, being fucking Sasha. Hers was sad as fuck. I definitely cried. Maze Hughes, tears, cry me a river type shit. I was crying like a whole entire pond. Jiraiya, absolutely boohooed. Because how dare you? And then, of course, Neji, I definitely cried on Neji's death. So if you guys have any deaths, anime or in comic books, that made you tear up a little bit, let me know. Again, this is literally coming on the cusp of them killing a very important character to a team, Beast Boy. And they're literally like, they did, like, it's coming off of them actually giving Beast Boy things to do and not just like the humor person or, like the background character who we need sometimes. They are actually giving him things to do. He was protecting Earth. He was protecting his team, and then they killed him. And apparently it's permanent. Who knows? It may be. Because it's looking like Alfred's kind of permanent right now too. So we'll see, of course. I don't know where my YouTube partner went to, so. And I don't know who else he had as a character because he didn't send them to me. So that was my long list of characters whose deaths I thought were completely either unnecessary or essential. If you are in the Facebook group, We're going to be having some more like discussion posts. If you guys have any other ideas for episodes or want to be on an episode, please just let me know in the group and we will get you scheduled for an episode. I have absolutely no problem having you guys. We have 2 different ones. So you can either do this one on StreamYard where you're on camera, or you can do the actual other podcast where it's just a phone call and we talk. And that one goes on the Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Samsung Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, all that stuff. So that one is where that one goes. And then this one goes on to the Facebook, the YouTube, and when I can get it correctly, the Instagram. But the Instagram was having an issue, so I just didn't do that one. We are trying to do a gamers episode. So if you are a gamer and want to join in on that episode, we can have up to 10 people on stage. So if you are a gamer and you want to be on that episode, very much let me know. I have 2 people so far, actually 3. I have 3 people so far. So I can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can take 5 more because that'll be 5 of us on stage. So I can take 5 more. So if you are a gamer and you would like to participate in that episode, we're really kind of just going to be talking about like what your life as a gamer is, what games you like what games you like now, what started you in gaming, things like that. So you'll get all the details once we start getting that episode together. But yeah, that is it for today. I've been talking for 30 minutes. So thank you guys for tuning in. And you can always catch this episode on YouTube if you want to watch it again. And we will see you guys next week. Yes, I think so. So I'm gonna play myself off now.
If they don't like me, I'ma live my life anywhere. I ain't fucking with her if she ain't watching anime. You know the finest women in the world, you know they cosplay. Pocket full of money, yeah, man, I came to play, yeah.